So, on my way home from work today, I was trying to think of a way that I could connect better with my community. I just hit 300 subscribers, and I just want a way to, kind of give back to you guys or find a way to help you guys, because I really appreciate all the support I've been getting. And what I'm going to try to do is, either once a week or maybe once every other week, I'm going to answer a community question or a question that you guys left in my comments on one of my videos. And hopefully this will help you guys. Some of these questions may be answered in the future with guides I'm planning on making, but at least for now, I can try to give you guys kind of a quick, raw just answer to your question, or at least kind of try to answer your question in some format. So anyway, we're going to start doing this. Today we're going to do it. So, Dalton Worthington asks, I'm a bit disconnected on the valuable dungeon/dailies I should be doing and at what level they become available, recommended gear, etc. Like, I've heard so much about wedding rings, but yet unsure of how to get them. That would be an amazing video alone. Anyways, thanks for the great content, man. Love watching the videos. First of all, thank you very much for your support, and let's hop in game now, and I'll do my best to answer your question. So, to answer Dalton's question, I figured it would be a good idea to hop on my half-baggy, because that's a character that I'm currently working on leveling up, and give examples of the various daily dungeons I do, daily quests I do, in order to help you out. So, first off, I'm going to go through the solo dungeons. One of the most important solo dungeons that you should be doing is the Python Castle or Doomed Maze dungeon. You need to be at level 118 to access the map. You can easily teleport there from our Deca, and you literally just run straight east, and you can see this is the entrance to the Python Castle dungeon. You'll be at level 118, and you should start doing this dungeon as soon as you have access to it. In terms of what you get from it, the useful items that you get from it are I'm not going to go by letters, that'll take way too long. But the useful items that you can get from it are, you can get pieces to your Semper item. So that's like your Amethyst, your Topaz, your Tourmaline, that type of stuff. To start farming for your Semper item, which is a very good PvP ring. You can also get Tristy armlet pieces and Elenin's ring pieces. Now, the Elenin's ring really isn't that good, but the Tristy armlet is pretty much the best armlet in the game. So doing this dungeon every day just for a chance to get one of those armlet pieces is definitely worth it, in my opinion. In addition to that, when you are a lower level, running the under section of this dungeon is really good for triggers on runes and just good experience in general, so it's a good way to be leveling. You can get some +8 gear from this. The 115 gear is actually kind of hard to sell, but you could still sell it for like probably 5 to 10 mil right now. But if you get any 13x gear that's +7 or +8, you can sell that for a decent amount, or you can even, farm some gear for your own character by doing this dungeon. So definitely worth doing that dungeon, in my opinion. The second dungeon that you should definitely be doing is the Space of Pilgrimage dungeon. In order to get that, we'll have to go back to our Deca, run to one of these teleporters, but you will be teleporting to none other than the Space of Pilgrimage, which I think you need to be level 131 to teleport to. Once you're here, I'm not going to run all the way there, but you simply run east to the Garden of Soul, and right here at the very tippy top is the Elengos, I can't pronounce it, solo dungeon. This is another very important dungeon that you should be doing every day. Now, this dungeon has 4 bosses at the end. So what does that mean for you? It means that that's 4 chances for, potentially a decent drop. If you have camouflages and you're going to be using those to redo solo dungeons, I highly recommend that you use it on this dungeon. The reason is because you can get 5x gear and 145 +8 weapons, or the +8 armor, which actually sells for a decent amount. I mean, the armor pieces, at least right now when I'm making this video, you can sell between 100 and 300 mil, and the weapons too, 100, 300 mil. Not to mention, if you try to +9 it yourself and sell it, you can make even more money. So it's a really good dungeon for that. In addition to that, you can also get Argates, just like in the previous one too. Argates are great. The gold ones sell good, or you can just hang on to the silvers and coppers for plussing up your own stuff. And once again, you get the Tristy armlet pieces, you get the Elenin's ring pieces, which are really good. But the big thing is those +7, +8 gear drops that you get from this dungeon, which are fantastic. In addition to that, when you complete the dungeon, you can sometimes get an Elengos, sorry, I can't pronounce that name, random box. Now, most of the time, you're not going to get anything that good from it, but just recently, I got a pet egg box, which is great. I mean, I sold that for 700 mil. I mean, that's a nice chunk of money right there. Or you can use the pet egg yourself if you want. And you can also get sandals boxes. And sandals sell anywhere from 300 to 600 mil as well, at least right now while I'm talking. And if you try to plus them to, +7 or +9, they're worth even more. So definitely another solo dungeon worth doing, in my opinion. Another solo dungeon that I don't personally do every day, but I do feel like is worth doing, is your Favnel's dungeon. Now, to get to Favnel, it's a little bit farther, but what you have to do is you have to run to Crespo, and you have to run up here to the Crack of the Valley, so we're going to do that really quick. And I believe that this dungeon requires level 160 to enter, if I remember. I can just teleport there using some of my warp stones, but I'm just going to give you guys an idea of how to get there. But like I said, teleport to Crespo, run to Crack Valley, run all the way northeast to Valley Rift. Oh, and by the way, for the Doomed Maze dungeon, you really don't need to have very good gear to complete that. However, for the Elengos dungeon, or however you pronounce it, in order to fight some of the later bosses, you do need to have at least some decent gear. You need to be doing a decent amount of damage. You'll definitely need a +9 weapon, or like really good gear, something like that. But even if you can't kill all the bosses, you can at least kill the first, 1 or 2 of them. So still worth doing. Anyway, from Crack in the Valley, you're going to be running into Dravistown. And because I'm lazy, from here I'm going to use my teleport stone and teleport straight to Favnel's Nest. So you run here, you run to Dravistown. Once you're in Dravistown, you're going to spawn right here, and you literally just run over to the east in order to get to the dungeon entrance. And once you're here, you talk here. We'll see what level requirement it is for Favnel. Oh, I'm sorry. Favnel's Nest is 168 in order to complete. And this is another good dungeon. If anything, it's just good for experience. But it does drop 1 7x gear sometimes, but the drop rate here is much lower, and you don't get stuff as often, which is why I'm not always as motivated to do this dungeon, but definitely still worth doing if you're looking for something to be doing every day. So next we are going to look at Honeymoon. So Honeymoon Dungeon is another extremely important dungeon that you should be doing every day. We're going to run over there really quick. The entrance to the dungeon is located on the east side of our Deca, right over here, so we're going to be running over there. Now, in order to enter this dungeon, there's actually 2 dungeons over here. There's the normal Honeymoon Dungeon, which is on the beach, and then there's also the Horror Honeymoon Dungeon, which is another good dungeon. But all you have to do is come here. I think you have to be level 130 to start doing this. Might be 131. I'm not 100% sure, but it's around there. And you need to grab your wedding preparation quest, and from there you just need to go kill monsters that are in your level, and they'll drop these little shards, these little white shards. And once you get 20, you bring it back, and then you'll get a honeymoon box, which I think I have one in here somewhere in my inventory. Oh, maybe I don't. Thought I did. There's probably some in my stash. But you'll get one of those boxes, and you will be able to exchange that for a ticket. Now, the reason that this dungeon is really important to be doing is important to do is because the generic Honeymoon Dungeon drops wedding rings. Now, wedding rings are a staple item if you want to be competitive in this game. You either need wedding rings or you need Master Dragon necklaces. And the wedding rings, most of the time, once you get to the higher end, are going to be better because they give you that flat attack increase versus the Master Dragon necklaces that are going to be giving you VIT. It's a rare drop, but as long as you keep doing this dungeon as often as you can, you definitely will get it eventually. I mean, it took me a while, it's taken my friends a while, but you do get it eventually. In addition to that dungeon drops 9% gems, which sell for a bunch. It drops wedding armlets, wedding belts, which sell for a good amount. You can get 150 dragon weapon boxes. You can get permanent wedding rings. You can get a permanent wedding costume if you're trying to get a costume. Definitely a dungeon worth doing. However, You will not be able to just run in at level 130 and do this dungeon. This is a harder dungeon. The mobs hit pretty hard, and if you want to be killing the brigands and the dragon boss that's in there, you do need to have better gear. I mean, I recommend at least having, +7, +8 gear, at least some monster damage tolerance or damage decrease rate, and you're going to need a +9 weapon if you want any chance of killing that stuff. A lot of times people are pretty friendly and willing to help you out with this dungeon. I mean, sometimes I have my friend help me too, because it is kind of a harder dungeon, but, just work your way up. So even if you can't be killing the brigands and Rubinson, you can at least be killing the Gevs that are on the beach, and those have decent drops as well. You can get everything from the Gevs as well. It's just those other NPCs have a higher drop rate, but still worth doing. Horror Honeymoon is another one you can be doing as well. And what's important from that dungeon is you get your sealed spell dragons there, which are another staple item that you need if you want to be competitive endgame. You can also get the Icy Dragon Wings permanent, which are really good. You can also get the Polar Bear costume, which actually out of any costume in the game has the highest monster damage tolerance at 12%, which is really good. Definitely a costume worth getting. Yeah, great dungeon. You can also get 9% in there and make some money. You can also get these little pieces that you can exchange for Alipa armor pieces, which is currently the best armor in the game, so lots of potential money making there. Definitely something worth doing every day. Even if you can't do it every day, at least do your quest every day so that you can stack up some tickets and do it when you can. Okay, so another daily event that I think is really important for people to do is your DK Square Dailies. A lot of people don't do this, but all you have to do is you talk to this guy right here. You get your Find the Commander quest, which will be right on the top. I already have it. And then you will also get 2 quests from Macau 2. These quests, I think I have them all right here. Here they are. Find the Commander, emergency call, and collect. This will be either an emergency call or it'll be talk to like the stone or whatever. But what you get from turning these in is you get I was like, I don't have holy water active. It's my veteran's talisman from the thing. But you get DK proofs, which look like this. DK Guardian proofs. And what you can do with those is you can actually exchange them for some pretty good items. One of the best one being the DK Guardian earring, which is actually a really good PvP earring if you don't have your spell dragons. And even so, it's still a good one. Which you exchange here, accessory, and so you can, the first one you get is the DK Marvel earring for 45, then you have to exchange all the way down to 180. It does take a long time to get this, given that you can only get 3 DK proofs a day, but if you just do it once a day, it's definitely worth it. And if you don't want that, you can get some timed stuff. You can also exchange for like Seed of Dreams, or you can get some 10% Nyers, rank up coins, Materia spirits. There's a lot of good stuff you can exchange. There's some costume stuff here. So definitely worth doing every day, in my opinion. Another really important one. If you're over level 160 and you do not have your Draconic Squama, you should definitely be doing your Dravis Secret Passageway 4 times a day. So I'm going to quickly show you how to get there. I'm going to be making a guide about this soon. I haven't done it yet, but when I do, there'll be a little annotation, or not annotation, but a little card, because they're getting rid of annotations, a little card in the top right, so you guys can see how to do that. But in order to get to that, once again, you're going to run to Crespo. From Crespo, you are going to, once again, run to the Crack of the Valley. And then once you run the Crack of the Valley, I'll show you what to do. This will take just a second here. I'm trying not to make this video super long, but there's just a lot of stuff to talk about. So we're going to run to Valley Rift entrance, and from there you're going to run up to Elenom Shrine. You're going to talk to Yednek, and you're going to select the first option, go through, and you'll be teleported into that map that's over there. Once again, I'm going to cheat just to get there faster for the sake of the video. So in order to get there, and then that'll put you in right over here, and then from there you just run over here to the east of the map, and you do your secret passageway. Once again, an extremely important dungeon to be doing to farm your Squama supplies. If you do not have your Squama, you should definitely be doing this dungeon 4 times a day, because it is, once again, a staple item if you want to be competitive endgame, because it is an ingredient for the Draconic Perforus. Okay, so last thing I want to do is go back to our Deca. The last thing that you should be doing every day is you should be paying close attention to the events going on in the game. I have made, I would say, more than 75% of my money off of events in the game because you capitalize on them, or you get useful items. Right now, there's an attendance event going on. So every day you should be running up to Karen. I've already taken mine for the day. Resets like in an hour for me, and then I'll take it again. But it's up here. It's like a spring whatever event, and you should be getting your daily rewards for that. And that's going to change depending on what's currently going on. But that's why it's so important to be keeping an eye on events that are currently going on. And, if you want a really easy way to do that, you can just subscribe to my channel because I make event reviews all the time about stuff that you should be keeping up with and stuff like that. So there's my little plug. I think that's all I have right now for daily stuff that you should be trying to do every day if you're currently working on leveling an account, or just if you're an average player too. Those dungeons are still definitely worth doing if you're trying to make money or farm for your trusty armlet or anything like that. So I hope that answered your question. I hope you guys liked this type of video format. I'm really hoping to do this at least once a week, or maybe once every other week. I'm going to call it like community questions or something like that. And once again, it's just me trying to connect more with my community, or, my subscribers or my viewers, anything like that. I'm just, it's just an idea I had and something I'm trying to act on. If you guys enjoyed the video, and you want to see more, you can always subscribe to me. If you have any questions or suggestions, as always, you can leave them in the comments. And until next time, guys, take care.